If you voted for Trump, you are not allowed in Mexico. You are not allowed in Cabos, Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, Aguascalientes, none of that. Guess what, baby? That's all in Mexico. You don't like us, we don't like you. Don't go there. Stay in your country. Figure it out. Vacation, I don't know, maybe Nebraska perhaps. One of the red states that you love so much. Stay there. Don't have margaritas, don't have tequila, no tacos, no enchiladas, none of that for you. Stick to what you know. Maybe a burger, perhaps, no cheese.
I'm in Japan right now, and every single time that I say that I'm from the United States, people look at me with disdain and disgust, and I have to explain myself every fucking time. I've been to Europe, the same fucking thing applies. It is embarrassing at this point. I have no words for it anymore. It's just disgusting and embarrassing. I have no fucking words.
I was in Paris for the last few days, and they just genuinely hate us. Like, I told a few people who said, like, where are you from? American. And they literally just wanted to smack me in the face. They were like, are you a bad person? And I was like, I was like, no. They were like, do you like Trump? I was like, no. But it was a vicious hatred. I had one conversation with this guy late night, and he was like, you are the leader of the free world. You are not setting me good examples. And it's like, when a French dude says it, I just want to disagree. I'm like, I agree with you, but it was tough. It was tough.
I'm really confused at why I keep finding MAGA followers on my page. My page is to help people escape the USA. Let me be clear, MAGA. You need to stay in the United States. You voted for this outcome. You cheered for Trump. You demanded this chaos. Now you get to live with it. Most people in the world disagree with you and do not want to see you. The anti-American sentiment that's growing is not aimed at every American. It's aimed at you, at the people who supported the guy who wrecked alliances, praised dictators, pulled out of climate agreements, and made the US look like a circus on the global stage. So when you think you can just pack a bag and move somewhere else to get away from the downfall of the USA, nope. Other countries have been watching you and your party. They saw the rallies, the chants, the hate that you enabled, and they do not want that hate exported into their communities. You voted for isolation. You voted for division. You voted for a man who promised walls. My page is for the people you voted against. So don't follow me and stay in your burning country that you created.
This is a PSA for the MAGAs. If you are planning to vacation abroad, especially to Europe, don't do it. Don't do it. They don't want you there. And if you do it, please wear your MAGA hat and take videos. I want to know what happens. Now, the reason that I'm telling you this is because I was on a phone call with my daughter who moved to Finland last week. I was talking to my daughter. She just finished brunch and she was walking outside with her husband. Clearly, by their English dialect, they are Americans, right? This man approached her husband asking if he was American and where he's from. Now, her husband said, they're from Florida, which is clearly the wrong answer because everybody in the whole wide world knows how special, and not in a good way, Florida is. That man started yelling, and I heard him on the phone. He was like, fuck Donald Trump, fuck Donald Trump, fuck Donald Trump. Finally, my daughter said, yeah, fuck him, fuck him. That was the way she got that man to shut up. Then her husband, who is Chilean, said, hey, I speak Spanish. I'm from Chile. Really, I'm originally from Chile. Dude, you should have said that in the beginning because didn't I tell you that if you're Latino, you need to use that card? Now, my daughter was able to calm down the guy because she agrees with his statement. And you got to understand that these Europeans are able to voice their opinion because what Donald Trump is doing is affecting the whole wide world. This war didn't need to happen. This was a choice and he definitely chose wrong. So I'm definitely going to allow him to have his voice. So when I go over there to Finland in about a month, I'm hoping I can get people on camera to tell you exactly what I'm saying right now to you, that they don't want you over there and that they believe he's the worst president ever. Anyway, you guys have a blessed day.
Let's talk about something that is becoming increasingly uncomfortable for some Americans. Like, what happens when you travel outside the United States and realize that people no longer separate you from politics of the country you came from? Because right now there are Americans traveling abroad and who are saying they feel kind of different, like the tension when people find out they're American. Some are saying they feel like they have to explain themselves. And I want to be clear before I go any further. I do not believe innocent Americans should be hated because of who they voted for, what political party they support, or what they believe. And you should be able to travel, you should be able to meet people, you should be able to exist without somebody deciding you are a bad person simply because you have an American passport. Guys, watch this video until the end to get the understanding of this topic, and hope you don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, and yeah.
Finish defeating Iran, which is being very badly defeated. Pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States.
People don't hate us because they ain't us. They hate us because we go around the world dropping bombs on them and acting like a bully. Because if you're actually worried about U.S. national security, you should be a lot less worried about Greenland and immigrants and a lot more worried about how Trump's words and actions are causing people all around the world to radicalize against Americans. And with good reason. When the President of the United States is openly discussing invading and stealing a foreign country, not because they committed an act of war against us or because we have any territorial claim to that land, but because he wants it. When they go in and kidnap a foreign leader, no matter how hated, and when he makes no secret of the fact that his interest in those countries is to plunder their natural resources, why would anyone like us? And I'm not even talking about governments here. I'm talking about individuals and individuals that form groups, especially when they see that their governments and institutions aren't doing enough to condemn and stop the United States of America. There are Americans who get this and Americans who don't. And to the ones who don't, you need to wake the F up and realize he's the one causing anti-American sentiment to go through the roof.
That moment when you go into a Northern Ireland bar and are immediately accused of being a bad person because you're from the United States.
Well, that's kind of odd. I travel around a bit. I got a couple stamps in the old passport. I've never had anyone assume I'm a bad person just because I'm an American. Luckily, she did a story time and we can find out why.
Gave us our pints, what have you. Then the gentleman said, "Are you American?" And I said, "Yes, we're American." And I'm not lying to you when I say it instantly went from, "Yes, I'm American," to, "Well, who'd you vote for?"
Exactly. I'd ask.
And I kind of was just shocked. I'm like, wow, that was very direct. And I said, we're on vacation. We're trying to get away from all of that. We don't really want to talk about it.
Which means she voted for Trump. I've never met anyone that voted for Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, ever be embarrassed about their vote or forthcoming about it. There's only one group of people that won't tell you who they voted for, which is how you know who they voted for. The absolute audacity to think that you get to vote for Donald Trump, who's starting wars across the world, who is very anti-Palestine when Ireland is extremely pro-Palestine. The audacity to even visit other countries with the way you want people treated in this country. Now, she tried to say, oh, y'all don't know who I voted for. Y'all don't know who I voted for. Well, you didn't delete all your reposts.
Oh, so you really don't care about illegal immigrants being detained by ICE and families being separated? No. No.
And you're surprised people in other countries don't want you there. The absolute fucking audacity.
Day one of wearing a MAGA hat in Canada until I am assaulted.
Liberal Canadians can't stand Donald Trump. I was just waiting for this restaurant to open and there was a Canadian couple. They started talking to me and the guy's like, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from California. And he was like, don't worry, don't just tell people you're Canadian, don't tell them you're American. I was like, oh, okay, like, haha. And then he's like, I was like, yeah, I was just in New York. He's like, we're boycotting the United States until Trump's out of office. And I'm like, Trump's doing not a lot of great things, but like, it's still better than Canada. Like, Canada's a joke. Like Justin Trudeau, I mean, kind of laughing stock. And some of these liberal Canadians are pretty radical.
Good luck, Canada hating USA. This will not end well for you. You know what? thank you. I appreciate you posting this, because what you've posted is exactly what I abhor. Go look up that word. Oh, wait. Are you good? Okay. It's exactly what I abhor. I abhor a lack of education. I abhor chosen stupidity, right? There's different kinds of problems that go on in many countries. And by the way, it happens in Canada as well. You guys just have 10 times the population, so I feel like statistically, mathematically, I know that's another thing you don't want to talk about, you have a bigger issue. Because ignorance can be taught, right? I can be ignorant of things. I can sit down in a classroom or get a book or watch a YouTube video, and I can become enlightened. I can become aware and educated, right? I dare say I can become woke. It's not the point of this TikTok. My problem is people who choose stupidity, right? When you choose ignorance, I use the word stupid purposefully because you, with Google available, and the whole world of information at your fingertips, have chosen to remain ignorant, have chosen to allow stereotype and prejudice to drive your thought and your action. You have chosen to believe an individual who has 34 felonies and lies if he's speaking. You've chosen to believe him because he's promised to make you a superhero. Hun, when you choose ignorance, you're stupid. You've chosen stupid, and I have no problems using that terminology to call you because you have everything available in your wheelhouse to actually get unstupid. And I've used that purposely too because I think that if I use the kind of language you understand, maybe you'll listen a little bit more. There are incredible people in the United States doing incredible things. They're innovators, they are scientists, they are educators, and you are supporting an individual in an administration who wants to wipe them all out, who thinks that education is the anti-progress, that education is actually problematic. Why? Because he wants to pull you back to 1952, maybe even 1914. He wants to pull you back to an era in the United States where you don't have power, you don't have control, you have to sit home, shut up, and just listen to what the one newspaper has to say in order to educate you so they can keep you on the same hamster wheel you've been running for all the while. I don't hate people in the United States, hon. But I do really dislike potatoes. And when you choose stupid, well, you're just a vegetable, hon.
Are you a MAGA follower? Please do not come to Mexico. Do not come to Cancun. Do not come to Puerto Vallarta or Acapulco. Stay in the United States. Eat your Taco Bells. Eat your burritos. Eat your whatever you got back home. In Mexico, we already know that MAGA people hate Mexicans. We already know that you support Donald Trump, who is a really bad guy for Mexicans. They are putting our people in prisons. They are attacking our people. They are disappearing little children, separating families. We don't like MAGA people here in Mexico. And if you come, please do not bring your orange hat saying MAGA. Do not come with your shirt saying MAGA because I've seen cases where MAGAs have been attacked by Mexicans in Cancun. At least they get knocked on their head, or at least they insult them, and we are right. We know you hate us in the United States, so why are you gonna come to Cancun with your offending us with your MAGA shirts or hats? Stay in the United States, you're better there. Why do you come to Cancun? Why do you come to Mexico? If you don't like us, stay there.
People really don't think that we are proud to live in our country, and that's just because the media is loud.
That we're vulgar and dark and mean, and that's what the world, I think, thinks about us, but we're not.
That we're all like Southern, like Texas. Like, I feel like people like think of Texas when they think of America. America's like a lot more diverse than like you kind of see from the outside.
That we're all full of discourse or hate. We're not.
That we're all not united and we all need to get along.
There's a lot more love and understanding and acceptance and kindness than you hear in the news.
We're open and loving and wonderful people.
We love people.
Yeah.
A lot of people in other countries kind of see it as that we're not really like proud of our country, and I really want that to be known that we are, for the most.
Pew Research Center survey of more than 42,000 people across 36,000 countries, across 36 countries, found that views of Donald Trump and United States have become negative, especially in Europe. In 8 out of 10 European countries surveyed, the number of people who see America as a reliable partner has dropped since 2023. So when an American says, "Why are people looking at me different?" Well, this is part of the answer, because politics doesn't stay inside America's borders. When America changes its immigration policies, other countries feel it. When America changes its foreign policy, other countries feel it. When America turns back on international agreements and threat allies, other countries can feel that too. And when the government starts making decisions that affects immigrants, refugees, foreign workers, families, and people from other countries, those people don't experience it as some abstract political debate happening on the TV. They experience that by themselves. And that's where I think some Americans are beginning to understand something they may not have thought about before. Your vote can affect somebody who doesn't even live in your country, and that's a powerful thing. Now, imagine someone who has spent years watching American politics from the outside. You see immigration crackdowns, families being separated, and you see people from your region being deported, and policies that make it harder for people to enter America, work, study, or even build a life there. And then you hear American politicians talking about your country like it's a problem. Eventually, people are going to form an opinion. Now, imagine that same American tourist arrives in Europe. They walk into a restaurant, they meet somebody, they saw them, and they're like, "Hey, I'm from America," and suddenly the conversation changes, not necessarily because that person hates them personally, but because America has become associated with political movement that has created very strong emotions around the world. And this is where the MAGA movement has to confront something uncomfortable. You cannot spend years saying America first, we don't care what the rest of the world thinks, and then suddenly become shocked when the rest of the world has an opinion about America. You can't tell everyone else to stop complaining about American policies, then become offended when people respond to those policies. That's not how the world works. And I'm not saying every American deserves hostility, absolutely not. There are millions of Americans who voted differently, and Americans who have never supported that administration, and there are Americans who have protested those policies. So why, who are people who have protested those policies? Some of them are immigrants or children of the immigrants, and there are Americans who are trying to survive and have nothing to do with politics. So treating every American tourist like they are personally responsible for Washington's decision is unfair. But here's the most uncomfortable part. People outside America don't always know which American they're dealing with. They see a passport first, and they don't know your voting history, whether you supported that administration or whether you marched against those policies. They don't know whether you donated to political campaigns or never voted at all. And all they can see is that you are American, and if the image of America has deteriorated, some of the negativity is going to spill over on an ordinary America, and that is so unfortunate. But it also a consequence of American image changing internationally. And honestly, this is where some people who proudly supported America first may be experiencing very strange reality, because America was supposed to mean putting American interest above everybody else's. But what happens when America becomes isolated? Like, what happens when allies stop trusting you, and when businesses become nervous about investing in you? Like, what happens when other countries start asking themselves whether they can depend on America? And that happens when American tourist arrives overseas and discover that the American passport doesn't automatically come with admiration anymore. That has to feel very different, because for generation America carried enormous cultural power, and the music, the film, university, technology, tourism, like the American dream in general. And for a lot of people around the world, America represented opportunity. But that image isn't permanent, and the world is allowed to change its mind. And honestly, you can already see signs of that shift. So, Pew found that only a median of 26% of the people across the 36 countries surveyed express confidence in Trump when it comes to world affairs. European opinions were particularly negative. So, when somebody says, why are Europeans suddenly looking at Americans differently? Well, they are looking at American differently, and that's exactly the same thing. But here's what I think: the conversation needs to be more mature. Like, if you support these policies, you are allowed to change your mind. You don't have to pretend like you know everything. You don't have to defend every decision that, because you voted for the person who made it. You can say, I didn't expect this. I didn't realize this could happen. I thought these policies would help me, but now I'm seeing the consequences I didn't expect. And that's actually what democracy is supposed to allow. People can change their mind, because sometimes you don't understand the consequences of political decisions until those consequences are standing in front of you. Maybe it's your job, the healthcare system, and everything that we're seeing right now in America. And maybe it's simply traveling abroad and realizing that people have developed a completely different opinion of your country. And that's when politics stops feeling like something you argue about online, and it becomes real. But also, what to say, like, I also want to say something to people outside America, like, don't punish ordinary people for actions of their governments. Yeah, so guys, leave a comment about what you think about this video, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.